Welcome to Brooklands Corner. Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about Australian GP. What a race, man! And let's talk about it.
Let's talk all about it. First of all, it was worth waiting. It was worth staying up for it. I will say that.
Yeah, I stayed up. You woke up.
I woke up. Yeah. I woke up. I said, you know what?
Good
I'm gonna
strategy.
sleep and wake up at 4 a.m. I was strategizing through the whole thing. How am I gonna do this? I was like, I need to sleep, but I'm gonna wake up. I woke up at 4:23,
Mm,
so I did wake up a bit late. And then I saw Verstappen out. I said,
yeah, you
Jesus
missed that. You missed
Christ,
that bit, man.
I need to rewind that.
Yeah. You missed that bit. Yeah,
I need to rewind it.
he basically no one knew what happened straight away, but post race he was like the brake was stuck on
Stuck, yeah.
the rear tire. So basically
Oh,
he was just like driving with handbrakes on, and then
with handbrakes
eventually it
on
got
there.
worse and worse, and bam, caught fire, and that was the end of that.
Crazy.
Uh,
Do you feel bad that like this is a good thing?
no, I didn't actually. Weirdly, I did not. I was just like, oh damn, that's like that looks mad. Like what's
Yeah.
happened, kind of thing. But obviously
Mm.
going into the race, we all knew about the temperature and all kind of different issues that they might face. But that was like a different one, and it's the
Yeah.
first time in a while that is DNF. So, but yeah, I didn't feel bad.
Crazy.
I wasn't one of those people on Twitter going, "Well, karma's a bitch." I wasn't like
Ah.
anything like that at all. Luckily, I didn't because a few laps later, my beloved Lewis finished higher because the engine just like that just went off.
It just cut.
Yeah, it just cut, and there's still no reason besides it's simply just cut off. That's what they said. They're like, oh, it's simply just done. But one positive I took from it is because I think at the moment Lewis is getting a flack for he's washed and da 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 da. Da. No one seems
Very
to
true.
believe him when he keeps telling people it's the car, it's the car, it's the car. There people are
Hmm.
saying, well, look at George Russell's car. How come he's fine and you're not, kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
think this is a sort of like silver lining of actually see. I've been telling you
Yeah.
the car is because he tried to overtake Perez at one point and he fully went for it. And I think whatever it did there, the car just couldn't sustain that level of
Yeah.
action, kind of thing, that level of power delivery. And I think that's what happened, in my opinion. I'm not fully sure.
So he drove the car and the car failed.
Exactly.
Basically.
So again, like
He
I
was
was
racing.
saying, yeah, because it keeps going the car, and weirdly, reason for some reason before the race, I kept thinking to myself, what's stopping you from just go for it? If the car
Yeah.
handles it, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then that happens. I was like, okay, that answers my question.
Honestly, like there was a point where he was like, "Ah, that car's really fast, man." And you know, Lewis always says that. So then you're just thinking, oh, come on, Lewis, like just drive the car.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then later on, this is like after he DNF'd, like you heard George then say it as well. George was like, that car's a rocket ship.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like, I don't know if it was Crofty or one of them was like, oh, well, he's agreed with his teammate. And you're kind of like, do we forget that Lewis is a 7-time world champion? Like, he knows what he's talking about. If he says that car's really fast and this car isn't good, how can we now lose this kind of trust that Lewis has a say? Do you know what I mean? How can we lose this sense of he knows what he's talking about? It's really, really strange.
yeah,
But that was crazy to see that just cut. I'm thinking big Mercedes with how many cars on the road and
yeah, yeah,
big manufacturer, and you got an engine failure like that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. But yeah, man, because even after the race, you can sort of see Lewis kind of. It was in this like it was at peace in the sense of like it's
at least Max is out.
it's not even that. I don't even think it's that kind of energy. I think the energy was more like now you guys see what
Told
I'm
you,
saying. I told you so. Like now you
told you,
see
yeah.
like it's not literally it's there in 4K kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I think his interview after was just like, yeah, he did say, you know, there's nothing they can do and blah blah blah. But you can tell in his demeanor, he was more at peace. He was more like, I'm
Yeah,
just here, man. I'm just here to race. The race every weekend is fine. Like
yeah.
the car does
There
what it
was.
wants to do. There's nothing I can do about that. Hopefully, we'll keep chipping away at it. Hopefully, be better in the future. Whatever. But I'm here. I'm just racing, man. Let me be.
Mate,
Yeah,
there was
he
up
even
to
said to some publication that is used to not going past Q2 now. It's like
which is
he's getting
horrible.
used to this failure, which I felt when I read that, it kind of hit me. I was like, oh man, you can't be getting used to failure, man. That's gonna
I know losing the feeling of winning and getting
yeah,
used to failure is horrible
yeah,
for a championship driver.
yeah,
Like that is crazy. Like at least with Max can just be like, the breaker's on the car and
yeah,
the breaker's on the rear,
yeah,
and we'll be back in Japan and we'll be fine.
yeah, yeah,
But like we got a whole different issue with Lewis, whereas even if the car was running, the car was slow.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm, mm, mm.
Which is
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. And then we look at what then happened later. Happened later on with Alonso and George Russell. Wild.
right.
What do you make of that? What's your opinion on this?
Now, right. Okay. So at first I was thinking Singapore 2023, he's in a position to attack and he's focused so much on trying to go ahead. He's not even focusing on the track anymore and he's gone off. That's what I thought. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's a repeat. And then when we've seen that, okay, Alonso actually was braking much more earlier, kind of brake testing him basically, then I was like, oh, so Alonso's playing some 2000 rules basically. Like Alonso's racing like it's back in the day. So cheeky, very cheeky. But I don't know, man. It's like, he could still drive better though. I still feel like, would that result in you going all the way
Yeah.
in? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know about George, man. I don't know, man.
I think for me it's a skill issue because
Yeah,
um
100%.
when you look at what happened, so Alonso basically what he wanted to do, they've just done. So George Russell's pitted, got fresh tires, is chipping away at overtaking and whatnot. He's done the DRS, done another DRS or so, and then at this point, Alonso's trying to defend. He's thinking actually to avoid that
Yep.
happening again for you to overtake me here, what I need to do is lift early so I can exit quickly. That's
Quicker, exactly.
quick
Yeah.
kind of thing and defend my position here. So what had happened was your boy at the back behind him lost as always.
It's just too
Skill,
eager.
skills issue here for me. I think he should have dealt with that better, way better than that. Uh,
Way.
Happy that he put his hands up though, saying, I went outside the line. That was me. But I'm glad he was okay because
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was
Middle of the track.
it was trapped in there. I wouldn't even say it was trapped really, but you can't just get out in that moment.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're in the middle of the track. You don't know what speed other people are coming at or use how close they are behind you at that point. And he was shouting. You can hear the panic in his voice.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You heard it.
Red flag, red flag.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's lucky that he was okay. That he wasn't anything more than that. But the boy needs someone to coach him on
Yeah, I don't know.
holding your nerves basically. And
When he's chasing, he just focuses like so much on the car. I think he just loses sense of where the track is and just goes off. I was like,
I
come
mean,
on, man.
there's no harm in focusing on the car and stuff, but you have to have more.
You have to be aware.
You have to have a multifaceted awareness
Yeah.
of what's going on around you, kind of thing. So you can't just be like, that's what I mean. Need someone to coach him on holding his nerves and having more than a ton of vision on that one thing, just being aware of literally.
Yeah.
And then his race engineers also being there in his ears, being like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a bit of buckling under pressure.
Yeah, a synergy of everything would have been nice over there. But yeah, man, that was incredible because I fell asleep before that crash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was just like, oh, the race is done. I was happy for signs in my head. I was just like, let me just relax now, like,
Yeah.
And then next thing, I woke up and I was like, what? Two DNFs? I was like, what's
It's
going on?
horrible. In the end, it was all in vain. It was all in vain in the end.
I was like, man, what?
And after all of that chatter as well, with like, there was, I'm not saying that he was throwing shots at Lewis, but he was just kind of like, his problem, not mine.
Yeah.
And then no Mercedes crossed the line.
I just laughed when he was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll get podium. I was like, is this guy all right?
Yeah, right.
Podium my ass. Like, have you not seen the Ferraris? Have you not seen the McLaren? Have you not seen Are you sure? It's just chatting sake, man. Like the guy needs to just people are gonna start thinking I'm a George Russell hater at this point, but I'm actually not. I just feel like the guy just needs to wind it in a little bit.
Yeah. Agreed. What we saying about top guy, our guy with the special DRS weight reduction, Mr. Carlos Sainz?
Oh. I was about to say, what did I miss? Yeah, man, he smashed it. Honestly, he was so comfortable. You can tell from the way he was driving. You can tell from his demeanor, his energy. In fact, he was like, you know what, we would have won regardless. even if Red Bull didn't have any, if they completed the race, they would have still won that. And
Yeah, Sergio said
I
that.
completely agreed because they looked so much faster on the
So quick.
corners of the straight. Tire management was so much better. Strategy was better. It was just like it was like the blueprint for the perfect race in that zone there, which I really enjoyed it. It was a nice
Mm,
consolation for not like for the Mercedes failure. It was a nice consolation to see them do
it
really well.
was.
Even Lando like performing much better. There's some improvement.
Yeah.
Consolation there for me as well. I loved it.
100%. I like the fact that it's such a good story to tell that, dude missed out last week. That gave a chance for Oliver to shine. And then he comes back and he gets,
Yeah,
pole. Like that. That's just perfect. I love it. Like, I
yeah.
love it for signs. And right now I'm thinking, mate, just turn your phone off of airplane mode and they're all calling you.
Yeah,
Trust me.
they're already doing that. Like Red Bull's already outright said
Yep.
is on the short list.
Yep.
So he's definitely there. If he's not, he'd probably go to Red Bull, at this point. Because
He should. I don't see if there's
yeah,
anyone that should be like with Max,
yeah,
it should be him. He's the only one that's won 2 Grand Prix since 2023 outside of Red Bull. He's
yeah,
the only person.
yeah.
Who else should be with him as a teammate?
I definitely could see that happening. And Vasseur was like, you know what, we're gonna bring that upgrade for Japan. He's not. He's like, yeah, we did well today. It's fast, all that stuff, but I want more. And that's the energy
Hmm.
that Toto needs to have. He needs to learn
That's it.
from his mate. They need to have a go for dinner. Take note from
Yeah,
this guy in terms of the energy. I think even Red Bull boss said it before. Christian said it before. It's like, you know what, Toto needs to work on re-energizing his team, like being able to motivate them again.
that's
Like
it.
I was saying to you, I think over WhatsApp, I was saying this guy's enjoyed and inherited success for so long.
Hmm.
He doesn't know. He's never dealt with this level of failure consecutively before with a team. So
Yeah,
he doesn't. He needs to learn how to do that. So
that's it. This is coming on to the 4th year as well.
yeah,
So even if you don't watch F1, you'll be like, hold on. So you guys were on top. You are now not on top, but it's been 4 years and counting now. We have not got this car right. And then
yeah,
for them to say the W13 is actually the best Mercedes since the ground effect era, it's like, where are we right
yeah.
now? This is the absolute ghetto.
You know what's scary though? It's even like when they're doing well, they don't understand why. When they're doing bad, they don't understand why. So it answers
You
the
can't
question
replicate.
when people always like, yeah, but if you're doing well at practice XYZ, why don't you just keep that setup? They can't because they
Mhm.
don't understand why that setup was good.
And we're trialing so many different
Yeah,
things.
it's like fluke. It's when you play pool and you're smashing the ball in, all of a sudden you're not. You then go, well, how come you did well there? You're not like it's just you don't
Like,
know
I don't
why.
know.
You just
Yeah,
have
it's like a
to,
trick shot.
yeah, you did it and it happened and you're happy done. But yeah, you need to be able to be like your Red Bull and Ferrari and being able to be like, yeah, we're doing well. We know why, like because
Yeah,
that's what we did. We set that up to do that, and that's what
yeah,
it's doing. So yeah,
yep,
we'll
yep,
see,
yep.
man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
RBs. RBs.
I
Sunoda had a good drive.
Yeah, they did, man.
Good drive.
Yeah. Even they were praising them from practice anyway. Like
Good drive.
yeah, the
Good
drive's
drive.
good. Um, man, I think s- another part of the race for me is like Ricciardo. I think it's time he should put up his boot, hang up his boots, man.
You have to.
I think you have a legacy and you should protect it in a way as well. Go back to being a PR for Red Bull. Just
Man,
do the
you
PR
have
thing.
to you have to judge a man by his decisions, right?
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, when Red Bull was having their issues with Renault, he went to Renault when they were having reliability issues. Didn't do great at Renault, then had McLaren, didn't do well at McLaren, and you're just like, RB is your last chance.
yeah,
And you're seen as the person that's supposed to be potentially taking, like everyone was like, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo should be taking this spot from Sergio Perez for Red Bull. And that's not going to happen. Impossible. He's not driving good enough. He's a great personality, great PR, but the driving's just not there. The
yeah.
skill is not there right now.
It should definitely just focus on doing the PR side. I don't think
Oh
there's
my
any point
gosh.
at all.
But do you know what is sad?
Mm.
What I find sad is that no matter how good Yuki drives, he's not going to get that Red Bull seat.
Not yet.
I don't think he ever will, unfortunately. And this is just me being a spectator. I
Mm.
see a place where they will say, Yuki, you're up next for this Red Bull, this RB20 or RB21, whatever it is. you're up next for it. I can only imagine they'll get signs in. I can only imagine that they'll get somebody else in. And signs are the only one I can think of right now because he's
Yeah,
performing.
yeah.
But I can't imagine them picking Yuki to go up to Red Bull over, let's say, a signs. I can't see it.
I think it depends it depends who you ask really. I think if you ask Red Bull, they're enjoying being up at the forefront of the racing, the racing era right now.
Mhm.
I think if you were Red Bull, you would pick someone that you don't have to work too hard to get up to
Exactly.
speed. So you pick Science. But also, if you're a Red Bull, you might want to work on a long-term strategy and be like, actually, this is a guy that we can mold around Max, because Max and Science, that's two senior, two pros, two championship winning drivers that I don't know if it's ever worked well for any team to have two top drivers
Well,
like that. Do you know what I mean?
well,
So I don't think it's ever worked well for them. It's always going to be Ed bashing, and
yeah, of
it's
course.
never. It's good for us as spectators
Oh,
because
yeah.
we get to see all this unfold and etc. But that's another side you have to consider. Whether
Mhm.
you know what I mean. So for Science, you might want to go to a team where you get to be the first team player
True.
rather than
I wouldn't go there and
yeah,
like look
yeah,
at the
rather than
patience of Red Bull.
right? Rather than be like,
De
am I
Vries.
number two to Max? Am I number one? What am I doing here? Kind of thing. But
Mhm.
if you're Yuki Tsunoda, you're thinking, yeah, that's perfect because you'll be happy to be a number two to Max, uh,
Yeah.
but also chip away, like show them that actually I can do bits here, kind of thing. So, uh,
It could be
so you have to
it's
weigh it up.
ideal.
Yeah,
It's ideal, but that's a utopia. Like Red Bull long term, they're not developing talent.
yeah.
The Vries got chopped
Yeah,
like very quickly, and we
yeah,
know they're very cutthroat. Like everybody understands on the grid, they're the cutthroat ones. They
yeah.
want someone to be with Max and matching. It's only lucky that Sergio, even though he didn't perform well, he still was able to get that second in
Mm.
terms of last year. So that's the only reason why he could even have a seat. But if he was there, like, it's just not going to happen. I just
Yeah,
don't see it
I
happening.
definitely as good as science going there sounds to me. I personally wouldn't put him in there. I'd, like Max is doing well, unless Max is saying to you that actually I don't want to be here long enough, that long. Then okay, that
Mm.
makes sense because then when he goes, you can step up, etc., etc. But
Oh.
from what I can see, I would rather say bring not science level to the team, like someone
An
like
actual
science.
number two,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. Science would want success, obviously. So I don't know where, honestly, I don't know where it'd go, but. Uh, because you can't. I think McLaren are happy with their setup. They say that over and over. We're happy with our team
Yeah,
setup.
yeah.
They're easy to work with in terms of we even
Mhm,
saw on the track where they told one to give way to the other one. It's smooth. There was no argument between the players, the
mhm.
drivers. Um, if Alonso, I don't think he has much more in him to be honest. So
You think he's done?
maybe Aston could be a good spot for Science.
It could
But
be, and
for
we know that
Science,
they're
you'd
going
be
to have a lot of
like
money.
that car's not for me because I love winning and that car's not the one that's going to do it for me. So it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
Silly season's coming.
It's
That's what I do know.
pick apart every narrative that you can give it, every excuse you can give it. You can pick it apart and be like, actually, I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Oh my
time will tell,
gosh.
man. Time will tell.
I mean, I'm. Well, this is easily the best race of the season so far. Third race,
Yeah,
easily best race. Free. Like there's 10 championships in the paddock rather than on the
yeah,
on the grid. Like you had Max and Lewis
yeah,
inside. Like that's crazy.
yeah. It's I was surprised as well. There weren't that many red flags. Like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
expecting more. Shame we had no rain. I was expecting the first rainy track of this rainy
Hey, I'm counting my blessings. I like where we're at right now. I
season.
like it. I like
I
it.
want some rain, man. I want some. They're not these drivers. They've been tested on temperature so far. For like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah,
few
yeah,
races, it's all been tire management, tire management.
yeah.
I think it's about time they get tested on how well they can handle rain.
Got you.
They've done all that in the simulation, but we need that in the real world. Let's see what they can do. That would be funny.
I'm
That
with
would be
it. I'm with it.
But yeah, man, that's it, man. We've got it for Aussie GP. We're looking forward to Japan. That should be fun. That's another track that's very, very tough. But yeah, it should be interesting, man. But guys, we've got the F1 fantasy team, fantasy league rather. So make sure you join in,
Yeah.
see how we're doing.
Code is
Um,
below.
let's take it outside of the track. Let's take
Yeah.
it on simulation.
I've got my eyes closed when I'm picking that. I
Yeah.
can't even look at the
Do you,
league. I've
do
just
you
got my
have the
eyes
three
closed.
teams? You need the three teams.
Yeah. No, I made it to 2 teams
Do
that
you,
you
you
can
got
enter
you
in our
got those
league.
three teams, and then you can have a tinker with each one and stuff like that. And just I just set time aside every pre-race. They send you a reminder as well, just to tweet.
I
And
didn't believe them, but it's because it's the Australian GP. When they sent it, I was like, "Oh, that's a bit early." But I
yeah,
forgot quali's going to be at like
yeah,
5 a.m.
man.
or
It's like Friday.
something.
It's come back to normal. So yeah, man. Try to get your team set up. I do it at the same time as I do my Premier League, fantasy Premier League team as well. So I make sure that my team's ready for the weekend. Yeah, man.
Correct.
You gotta take
Yeah.
that serious, man. It's
A lot of pride on the line.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right. Catch you guys next one.
Cool.